Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. Welcome to this week's Oracle Card Guidance and Lesson. It's windy and it's a little chilly, and so you're hearing my chimes in the background and seeing my bobbing trumpet vines, so hopefully it'll stay put, but I have a funny feeling it's going to go wee any minute now. So we're going to do the same kind of reading that I have been the past few weeks. Seems like you guys like it. So before I actually choose the cards, you're going to pick a number between 1 and 6. So even though I'm doing a 6-card reading for the overarching theme that we're all going to be looking at this week and really asking ourselves to participate in, the question always answers, what do we all need to know for our highest good to stay in alignment with our highest self this week, right? So that's basically the question that I've asked for everybody. Then we choose the cards based on 6 that tells a whole story, but you pick a number and that's your special card. Then I'm going to choose 12 more cards, one for each sign of the Zodiac, and I'll explain that again in a second. All right, so the 6 cards for this week. Card number 1 is flexible, and that typically is, we consider what we call an anchor card if you're new to my videos. The anchor card anchors the subject for that week. So we know that flexibility is really important for everybody right now. And what does that actually mean? It means that going forward with a rigid idea of how things need to be isn't going to serve this week. This is about being fluid, flexible, meeting somebody else where they're at, not having to force anything forward on anyone or anything, recognizing that you have to meet the world where it is at every moment. So that means if things are changing, you adapt. So it's also the card of adaptability this week. So we're all being required to adapt to changing circumstances. Card number 2 is here and now. So if you picked card number 2, you really need to be focused on the 24 hours. I always say, certainly in my school, we teach our students to live 24 hours at a time. Don't worry about the future and don't look so much to the past unless you want to learn something from it. The past is a guidepost, not a hitching post, and the future is not 100% here yet. But we can see the flow of events from our experiences and our behaviors and our motives and actions from the past to where we are now. Then we can make appropriate shifts and changes now so that our future changes. So right now, card number 2 reminds us not to go too far forward. Don't make any predictions. Look at what do I need to do today to stay in alignment with my highest good and my higher self. So this card says stay in today. That's what we need to do, is to focus on today. What can I do today? The third card is higher power. So we remind ourselves that this is a very specific week where we have to be reminded that we are not alone in the big story. So there is the human story, and then there's the greater story, the overarching story. And you look at that the story of our soul that is here to experience and incarnate through our personal stories, but ultimately our partner in creating our reality is our higher power. So we don't do this world all by ourselves. And if we can remember that we're in partnership with the divine or with a higher power, and depending on what you call that, doesn't really matter. You are always asking what is in the highest good and what is in the best interest of all, and what serves humanity, what serves my path, how do I serve? But we always ask our higher power to be our partner, and then we know that we are not only acting out of our ego, right? Card number 4, this is a very yin. Card number 4 is all about conscious receptivity. So this is a really beautiful card for intuition, because remember we just caught higher power. We're remembering we've got to connect to our higher power, and then we need to receive information from our higher power. We know we have to be flexible and adaptable, which is card number 1. Card number 2 reminded us to stay in the now. 3 was all about connecting to our higher power, and 4 is like receiving information. But that means we also have to slow down. Yin is not a very active card. It's not a pushing forward. It's not a banging on the door card. It's not a card that in any way, shape, or form represents harsh movement, overly assertive movement either. It's learning, it's taking it in, it's putting a pin in it before you actually do something that you might regret later. So ultimately, this is really about even the way you tune into your creativity. You channel creativity. Creativity comes through you. When we're inspired, we are a channel for inspiration. And that's what I mean when I say channel, right? So we take it in, we receive it, and then we blend it with our unique qualities of the self. And whatever it is that we're focused on in our lives then has a more, if you will, I'd say a connected response, because you're putting out something or you're doing something that you're very conscious of, that you've received an intuition that you say, yes, now I can act. Now, what kind of act are we? Oh, well, we have to act first in blessing. We have to recognize the action from that as I've received information. I think this is also about epiphanies, because if I see blessed right after yin, I'm like, ooh. So I'm going to get really good information, and I'm going to know that I'm blessed. I'm going to be so grateful that I have received info that's important, that I need to know, so that I stay in alignment with my highest good and stay learning, and so that I can, take actions that make the world a better place and that we leave something better behind. And that's always what this is about. Is the human journey is part of one of evolution of the larger journey of all of us, but also the individual. Your unique, authentic, inspired self is what this reading is referring to as well. Last but not least, card number 6, that was card number 5, is breathe. So I kind of love this. This is a kind of, when I look at flexible, here and now, yin, higher power yin, blessed, and then breathe, it really is like, slow the heck down this week. This is a week for us to be contemplative. And prayerful, I think, because blessed was just before this, and really, really being super grateful for every breath we take, every moment that we're here, every conversation that's meaningful that we have with other people, recognizing that we can learn from other people. We don't have to be stuck in our rigid ideas or expectations of how the world is supposed to look. Instead, we can be open-minded, and I think that's also what the flexible card reminds us of this week too, and be willing to change and learn, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But breathe also says, like, nothing is built overnight. This takes time, and you need to breathe and not be impulsive. This is a week of a reminder not to be impulsive. I love this reading for this week. Okay, so again, card number 1, we have flexible. Card number 2, here and now. Card number 3, higher power. Card number 4 is yin. Card number 5 is blessed. And card number 6 is breathe. Happy break. Okay, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button, smash it. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see a bell. And that bell is going to tell you that you are going to get a notification every week when our videos are ready, just so you can see it, right? Yes. Now I'm going to choose 12 cards for the 12 signs of the zodiac. This is your astro forecast. I don't like to go too far into the future because it's a prescriptive reading rather than a predictive reading. So this is like, how do I work with my energy this week? And what do I need to focus on? And I started exploring this in the class that I taught with Deborah Silverman called Stars and Cards. And I found out that, the oracles do work in tandem with astrology. Quelle surprise. So let's look at Aries right now. So what is the card for Aries? Aries needs to particular focus on exchanging gifts. So given that this is a week of contemplation, the Aries person or the Aries sun, or if you have an Aries moon, or if you have an Aries ascendant, you will be looking at exchanging gifts as a way for you to contemplate your service. And also the law of reciprocity, that whatever you put out, you get back. So that's something too. It's the law of karma as well. So take a look at that, Aries. Now let's look at Taurus. Taurus is regeneration. So you're going to contemplate whatever it is that you have to let die so that something new can be reborn. That's for Taurus. Then we have Gemini, which is also breathe. Boy, Gemini's really got to slow down. Extra slow this week. We know that all my Gemini friends are like very active people, and I have Gemini midheaven and Gemini Venus, so I know that Gemini is influential to me. But this is a really good reminder for Geminis. Think before you speak, and remember that you don't have to rush forward at all. Now, Cancers come to the edge. Interesting. In a contemplative week, one does not assume a little Cancerian would be wanting to go to the edge, but in fact, Cancers can contemplate, because remember, we're slowing things down and we're receiving information, we're being flexible, how we would take a risk and in what way could we risk something, knowing that it's time to step into the unknown. That's for Cancers. And for Leo, we have the Observer card. Now, the Observer card is in protection. So sometimes Leos can, how about this? Rather than saying sometimes Leos can, because sometimes all of us can. This card tells the Leo people that not to let your life get suction cupped onto your face. Like, when all you see is you at the end of your nose, you can't really see that there's another world out there, and it becomes very self-centric. So this reminds you that there's more than you in the mix for Leos. Now we come to Virgo, and Virgo, oh, that's very interesting. So Virgo has a double yin also, so that yin card comes up for Virgos as well. Again, Virgo is the service sign, so we're really looking at the sacred quality of receptivity for Virgos. Now let's look for Libra, all that glitters. Libra wants to go a little deeper this week. You want to make sure that you're not only being attracted to what looks shiny or what looks loud. Go deeper and ask the right questions. Again, you're not moving fast this week, so this is a good week to ask questions. And for Scorpio, blessed. Oh, we're getting some of now you're seeing how I'm picking this. I'm just picking this like from random. So blessed for Scorpios. And Scorpio, remind yourself even more about your connection to spirit and the depth of the gratitude you have for your blessings. Now let's look at Sagittarius. This is weird. I'm getting all these same cards here and now for Sagittarius. So Sag, have a good time in the now. Contemplate your now. I'm gonna shuffle them again. It's so weird. Why am I saying it's weird? I've been doing this for 35 years. It's actually not. I've been doing this for 33 years. 33 years at the end of the year. Orphaned. This is for Capricorn. So Capricorn is reminded not to isolate right now. So you got to make sure that even though it's a contemplative week, it's a week to count your blessings, connect to your higher power, be flexible, stay in the now. It also says don't do this alone. This is a week that you don't have to feel left out. It's a week that you are required to pick up the phone this week. Don't expect others to do it. That is now Aquarius is co-create. So this is great. So Aquarius, you're now really contemplating this week. What are the projects that you want to get off the ground? Creativity is in all things. So, how can you make creative changes in partnership with your higher power? And last but not least, we have Pisces. And Pisces is about mending. Man, this card has come up almost every week since June. So mending for Pisces, in this case, you would be contemplating making amends or letting go when others potentially may have hurt you in any way. It's really like you drinking poison, hoping the other person is going to get sick, but you're the one that it affects more so. So this is really about cleaning up whatever needs to be mended or repaired. All right, so let me just go over again how you do the astrology piece of the reading. If you don't know your moon or your ascendant or your chart, go to astro.com and put in your birth data, time of birth, where it is, etc. It's got all the instructions there and it will tell you. And if you don't care and you just want to do your sun sign, you know what that sun sign is. So you can just use that one card added to the 6 cards, as well as your specific card that you pulled out of the 6, right? So you'd actually really have 2 special cards. You have the overarching 6 cards, and then you have, put those 2 together. It'd be interesting to see how they speak to each other. Let's say you picked card number 1, and you see the Pisces card. How do those 2 work? Like if flexible came with mending, like how would those 2 cards speak to each other? So you can spend some time, even just with 2 cards, and it would still be really profound. At least that's what we're hearing from all of you. Okay, if you like this video, well, you're going to subscribe to my channel, like the video, you're going to give me some thumbs up. We love reading your comments, so please leave one. And we really want to hear how your reading was at the end of the week, too. So I know lots of you say, oh, we love this the first time, but it's fun for you to actually post that on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram so that we actually see how many of you are really vibing on the reading after, you can look back over the week and go, oh my God, I can't believe it. I thought it meant this and it meant that, and it was really right. And that's what we're hearing from you. So we're really happy that you like this new format, and we'll see you next week.